Hey Oprah, good morning. How are you, darling? You looking very good. How do you think the election went?
Not talking about the election, thank you very much.
Oh, is it true that they paid you $1 million for the endorsement for Kamala?
Not true.
Not true, okay.
I was paid nothing, ever.
What do you think about all the celebrities with their mass exodus?
I'm not talking about
Do you think Prince Harry's gonna lose his visa now that Trump's president? Thank you, Oprah.
Poor billionaire Oprah. I mean, the irony in all of that, she didn't look good at all. She looked tired. She looked deflated, defeated. And despite her denial of getting paid $1 million, unfortunately for Oprah, we've got the receipts. All of that as the ultra woke MSNBC and CNN watch their ratings plummet since the election. We're going to see what's behind the implosion of the legacy media and why they all only have themselves to blame. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to give you a front row seat in the dawning of America's golden age that you made happen. And so make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss a single video where we analyze the rise of a new conservative age, both here and abroad. And as part of that rising golden age, we all have an opportunity to finally stop big tech and government overreach. It's happening, gang. Patriots are reclaiming our privacy, and you have no better way of protecting yourself than with SLNT. That's short for silent. Silence Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals so no one can get their hands on your information. From key FOBs to phones and laptops, simply place your device inside, close the sleeve, and that's it. You're off the grid and safeguarded from unauthorized access. Go silent today by clicking on that link below or by going to slnt.com/Turley to save 15% off plus free shipping on all qualifying orders. Stay ahead of what's coming and secure your privacy today. Again, that's slnt.com/Turley for 15% off and free shipping on all qualified orders. slnt.com/Turley. The ultra-woke billionaire Oprah Winfrey, she's not having a very good week. Not only did she see her Kamala endorsement fall completely flat in Trump's landslide win, but as you just heard there, she's denying that she was paid $1 million to host a town hall on behalf of Kamala Harris's fledgling campaign. Now, the problem for Oprah is that the Washington Examiner did an investigation into the Kamala campaign spending. And as part of her event production costs, which involved paying out millions of dollars to host these star-studded lineups that included everyone from Beyonce to Lady Gaga to Katy Perry, because, of course, nobody wanted to come and see Kamala herself. But as part of those payments, according to the Washington Examiner, there is a payment of $1 million to Oprah Winfrey's Harpo Productions from October 15th in West Hollywood, California. So, while Oprah herself may have not received $1 million from the Harris campaign, Oprah's production company apparently did. So it does appear that Oprah is eating a bit of crow as of today. But it's not just Oprah that's having a rough go of late. Outkick is reporting that the ultra-left cable news outlets MSNBC and CNN have seen their ratings plummet since election night. Take a look at this ratings collapse. This is insane. This is from MSNBC. The ultra-repulsively woke Joy Reid is down 54.6% in terms of her ratings. Ari Melber, down 49.6%. Chris Hayes, down 47.2%. Alex Wagner, down 53.6%. Morning Joe, best Biden ever, Morning Joe, is down 39.6%. Stephanie Rule is down 67%. And sleepy Andrea Mitchell is down 39.7%. In many respects, MSNBC seems to be going through something comparable to what happened to Fox News, what they went through in 2020 in the aftermath of Brett Baer and the decision desk when they called Arizona for Biden literally 10 seconds after polls closed there, and what in what was, in the end, the single closest state of all 50 states. Viewers were obviously livid over that blatant missed call, and they largely saw it, especially in light of all the tweets that came out from the Murdoch family celebrating Biden's win. The Murdoch family are just, well, I won't say it, but they just saw all this as part of the fix, as it were. Well, that seems to be exactly the case of what's going on here with MSNBC, CNN. We'll find out in a moment. Our good friend Rich Barris over the People's Pundit, he has, I think, the best assessment of what's happening here when all's said and done. He's been talking about this for months on his show. The legacy media simply did not prepare their audience for what we were about to see. They did not prepare their audience for a Trump victory that they knew was coming. They knew it was a possibility. Otherwise, they're just blatantly incompetent. Instead, by pushing these puff polls, these response bias polls that show Kamala in the lead, they simply weren't preparing their audience for what was far more likely to happen, which was that Trump's consistently and stubbornly high polling, the highest polling we'd ever seen either in 2016 or 2020 for him, that was going to most likely win him a majority of the swing states and thereby win the election. So, for example, here is how Rachel Maddow of MSNBC covered the utterly absurd Ann Seltzer poll from the Des Moines Register that claimed that Kamala was going to win Iowa by 3 points just days before the election. Check this out.
This is Ann Seltzer's recent track record. I mean, what you see here is in each election year, what her final poll said the result would be in Iowa. Next to that is what the actual result was on Election Day. And as you can see, if you look at the Senate and presidential races since 2012, her poll has accurately predicted the winner of the Senate and presidential races in Iowa within 1 or 2 points every time. There was a governor's race in 2018 where things went a little bit gang-a-glay, but in Senate and presidential races, you have seen Ann Seltzer basically as a living bullseye. And that's why lots of people had strong reactions when the Des Moines Register Ann Seltzer Iowa poll was posted last night. This is that poll, and it is a shock result. It shows Kamala Harris ahead of Donald Trump by 3 points in Iowa. And the reason this is consequential to our psyche is that if this is accurate, and if anybody is accurate, it's likely to be Ann Seltzer in the Iowa poll. If this is accurate, this implies that Harris might be winning Iowa. 3 points, granted, is within the margin of error here, but it's 3 points. Iowa is a state where neither campaign has spent any time or resources since the primaries. They don't have a ground game there. They don't have ads up there. Trump won Iowa by 8 points last time and 9 points the time before that. Nobody thinks of it as a swing state. A Democratic presidential candidate hasn't won Iowa since Barack Obama in 2012. But here she is with a lead. In addition to that top-line lead, the poll's internal numbers show dynamics in terms of women voters, and particularly older women voters, that could, again, if they hold, have really major implications beyond Iowa.
Now, of course, we all know, and I told you this on this channel just right after the Seltzer poll dropped, we all know that anyone who follows and analyzes politics and seeks to do so accurately and with a semblance of integrity, we all knew that that poll was patently absurd. It's not even a matter of it being an outlier, right? You're going to have outliers. You're going to have polls that diverge from the polling consensus. That's fine, but that wasn't an outlier. If Maddow had at least said that, if she said, yeah, guys, this is an outlier, it's probably not true, it would have been within the realm of responsible political analysis on her part. But as you can see there, she had no interest whatsoever in responsible political analysis. She celebrated that poll. She cheerled it. She championed it as signaling a massive landslide win for Kamala. As it turns out, the poll was just 17 points off. 17 points off. And the company behind Seltzer's poll is being investigated for polling propriety. Ann Seltzer's reputation is in tatters. And Rachel Maddow, her audience is once again abandoning her and her fledgling network. MSNBC has officially lost half of their primetime audience. Half since election night. And it's not just MSNBC. According to the Nielsen ratings, CNN has lost upwards of 40% of their already dwindling audience. Keep in mind, their current audience is their lowest primetime viewership in the last 30 years. It's no wonder that Chris Wallace has just announced that he's out of there. He's officially leaving CNN after only 3 years at the fledgling network. And it's not hard to see why. Everything we've been seeing of late, the ratings implosions, the mass layoffs at the Washington Post, media outlets across the nation, it's all indicative of the fact that we have reached the end of an era. The era of the legacy media is over, and this election officially buried it. And that's because the legacy media was not simply an advocate for Kamala Harris. The legacy media didn't merely campaign on behalf of Kamala Harris. The legacy media was the Kamala Harris campaign. The legacy media debated for her. They defended her. They made excuses for her. They rebranded her. As you saw, they highlighted all these insane response bias polls surrounding her. They did everything within their capacity as media outlets to influence the vast majority of the country to vote for her. And in the end, they failed. The vast majority of the nation, in a landslide victory for Trump, overwhelmingly rejected the media's campaign for Kamala Harris. And to make matters even worse, because the legacy media was the Kamala campaign, their viewers, their audience, their dwindling audience, is now treating these left-wing media outlets the same way disaffected Democrats are treating the Kamala campaign. They're turning their backs on them. Again, as our good friend Rich Barris pointed out, if the legacy media if they were actually interested in being reliable mediators of objective information, they would have at the very least prepared their viewers for a Trump victory. In one sense, CNN tried to do that towards the end with their data analyst, Harry Anthony, tried to make it look as if the Trump victory were possible, but then he quickly covered it up with so-called reporting that artificially hyped up Kamala. In the end, the legacy media simply could not reliably convey objective information to their audience. They couldn't. And they couldn't because they chose instead to, once again, like they did back in 2020, they chose instead to function as a Democrat super PAC. And once again, their reputation, like all of the puff polls they push, is in absolute tatters. The days of the legacy media are indeed over. Who would ever have imagined that it would be their own audience that ultimately buried them?